Look up. Look past the streetlights, past the clouds, and even past the quiet glow of the moon. If you could extinguish every light on Earth and gaze into the deepest, darkest patch of the night sky, what would you see? To the naked eye, it appears as a void, a silent emptiness between the stars. But point the Hubble Space Telescope or the James Webb Space Telescope at that nothingness and leave the shutter open, and suddenly the dark comes alive. Thousands of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, spiral out of the gloom. We live in a cosmos so vast that the human mind physically struggles to comprehend the scale. We are microscopic organisms living on a dust mote suspended in a sunbeam, surrounded by a terrifyingly majestic ocean of vacuum. But there is a limit. There is a wall. We call it the observable universe. It is a sphere centered on you, right now, with a radius of about 46 billion light years. That is our bubble of reality. Everything we have ever seen, everything we have ever measured, and every photon that has ever touched a telescope lens comes from within this sphere. But the most haunting question in cosmology, the one that keeps astronomers awake in the quiet hours of the morning, is simple. What lies beyond that edge? What happens if you travel 47 billion light years away? Do you hit a wall? Does space simply stop? Or is there something else? Something infinite, chaotic, and terrifyingly strange waiting in the dark? To understand what lies beyond, we first have to understand the trap we are in. The observable universe is not a physical prison, it is a temporal one. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Because the speed of light is finite, we can only see things whose light has had enough time to reach us since the beginning of time. It is a cosmic horizon, similar to the horizon you see at the ocean. A ship that sails over the horizon hasn't fallen off the edge of the Earth, it has just moved beyond your line of sight. So, the simplest, most conservative answer to what is outside the universe is deceptively boring. More of the same. Most astrophysicists believe that if you could instantaneously teleport to the edge of our observable bubble, you wouldn't find a sign saying, "The end." You would just find yourself in the center of a new observable universe. You would see different galaxies, different stars, and different distinct structures, but the laws of physics would likely be identical. Gravity would still pull, light would still travel at the same speed, and stars would still fuse hydrogen into helium. This is called the Level 1 multiverse. It suggests that space is simply an extension of what we see here, stretching out perhaps forever. But here is where things get mathematically unsettling. If space is truly infinite, if it goes on forever and ever without curving back on itself, then eventually reality must repeat itself. There are only a finite number of ways you can arrange particles in a given volume of space. It is a massive number, but it is finite. If you roll a handful of dice enough times, eventually you will roll the same combination twice. If the universe is infinite, nature is rolling the dice an infinite number of times. This means that far beyond our horizon, incredibly far away, there is an identical copy of our observable universe. There is another Milky Way, another Earth, and another you. In fact, there is a version of you that made slightly different choices. A version that clicked on a different video. A version that took a different job. A version that woke up 5 minutes later today. In an infinite Level 1 multiverse, everything that is physically possible is not just likely, it is inevitable. You are not unique. You are simply one iteration in an endless cosmic fractured mirror. However, that is just the tip of the iceberg. That is the safe version of the multiverse. To see the stranger territories, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to talk about the Big Bang, and more importantly, what happened a fraction of a second before it. The prevailing theory for the origin of our cosmos is called cosmic inflation. The idea is that in the tiniest fraction of a second, the universe didn't just expand, it stretched. It ballooned outward faster than the speed of light, smoothing out all the wrinkles in space-time and setting the stage for the formation of galaxies. But the math of inflation suggests something startling. Once inflation starts, it is very hard to stop. Imagine the primordial universe as a massive block of rapidly rising dough. In our little section of the dough, the rising stopped, the energy cooled down, and it formed the pocket of stability we call the universe. But outside our pocket, the dough is still rising. It is still expanding eternally, stretching out at impossible speeds. This is the theory of eternal inflation. In this scenario, our entire universe, everything we can see, all 93 billion light-years of it, is just a tiny, stable bubble in a vast, violently expanding sea of energy. And we aren't the only bubble. In this frothing ocean of the bulk, other bubbles are constantly forming. Other universes are nucleation points where inflation stopped in a localized area. This creates a level 2 multiverse. Here, things get truly alien. In a level 1 multiverse, the other regions are just far away, but they obey the same rules. In a level 2 multiverse, the other bubbles might have totally different physics. You see, the laws of nature as we know them, the mass of an electron, the strength of gravity, the speed of light, might not be fixed in stone. They might just be the result of how our specific bubble cooled down, like a roll of the cosmic dice. In a neighboring bubble universe, the strong nuclear force might be slightly weaker. As a result, atoms can't hold together. That universe is a soup of loose particles, a dark, dead fog where no stars ever ignite and no life ever forms. In another bubble, gravity might be 10 times stronger. Stars burn through their fuel in a few million years and collapse into black holes before life has a chance to evolve. There could be bubbles with 5 dimensions of space instead of 3. There could be bubbles where light doesn't exist. This solves one of the biggest philosophical headaches in science, the fine-tuning problem. Physicists have long wondered why our universe seems so perfectly constructed for life. If the expansion rate of the universe had been a tiny fraction faster, galaxies would never have formed. If it were a tiny fraction slower, the universe would have collapsed back on itself immediately. It feels like we won the lottery. But in the multiverse theory, we didn't win anything. There are trillions of dead, empty tickets, trillions of broken universes floating in the bulk. We are simply in one of the few bubbles where the numbers aligned to allow for observers to exist. We are here because we couldn't be anywhere else. But we can go deeper. We can leave the realm of vast distances and bubble universes and look inward into the subatomic world. This brings us to the level 3 multiverse, better known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. In the quantum world, particles don't have definite positions until we measure them. An electron isn't a point, it's a wave of probability. It can be in multiple places at once, a state we call superposition. But when we look at it, it collapses into a single position. The question that has haunted physicists for a century is why? Why does the universe choose one outcome over the other? The many worlds theory says it doesn't choose, it does both. Every time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, all of them happen. The reality we experience splits. In this timeline, the electron is on the left. In a newly branched timeline, the electron is on the right. Now scale that up. Every molecular interaction, every thermal vibration, every neuron firing in your brain involves quantum events. This means that reality is branching off into infinite variations every single nanosecond. This is not a multiverse out there in deep space. This is a multiverse right here, layered on top of us. These parallel worlds occupy the same space but are decoherent from one another, unable to interact, like radio stations on different frequencies. In this framework, every missed opportunity, every near-death experience, and every what-if scenario actually happened. There is a branch of the wave function where the asteroid missed the Earth and the dinosaurs developed a spacefaring civilization. There is a branch where Rome never fell. There is a branch where you decided to stop watching this video 2 minutes ago. It sounds like science fiction, but many serious physicists argue that the math of quantum mechanics demands this interpretation. If the math describes reality, and the math shows no collapse, then the splitting of worlds is the only logical conclusion. Finally, we arrive at the most abstract and mind-bending tier, the level 4 multiverse. This was proposed by cosmologist Max Tegmark. This level suggests that the universe isn't just described by mathematics, it is mathematics. Think about it. Why does the universe obey equations? Why is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter always pi? Why does gravity follow an inverse square law? Tegmark argues that mathematical structures are the fundamental reality. Our physical universe is just one instance of a mathematical structure. But there are other mathematical structures that don't correspond to our physical laws. Universes based on different logic, different geometries, completely incomprehensible to our human brains. If a mathematical structure exists, the physical universe corresponding to it exists. This is the ultimate theory of everything, where existence is synonymous with mathematical possibility. So, where does that leave us? We started this journey looking at the night sky, feeling small. Now, we are faced with a concept of infinity that renders us infinitesimal. If the multiverse theory is true, we are not just a speck in a galaxy. We are a speck in a bubble, in a frothing ocean of bubbles, continuously splitting into infinite variations of ourselves, all grounded in cold, abstract mathematics. It is easy to feel a sense of existential dread in the face of this. If there are infinite versions of you, does your life matter? If every choice is made somewhere, does free will exist? If there are infinite universes, is ours special? But there is another way to look at it. Think about the sheer improbability of your existence. Out of the chaotic foam of eternal inflation, in a landscape of broken and dead universes, the constants of nature in our bubble tuned themselves perfectly to allow for light, chemistry, and consciousness. Out of the billions of years of evolution, the chain of life remained unbroken long enough for you to wake up. We are the universe's way of thinking about itself. Even if we are just one of infinite iterations, we are the ones here, now, experiencing this specific slice of reality. The existence of a multiverse doesn't diminish our story, it elevates it. It means that existence is not a fluke or a fleeting accident, but a fundamental, relentless property of reality. The cosmos wants to exist. It tries every combination, opens every door, and explores every path. We are explorers standing on the shoreline of a small island, staring out at a foggy, boundless ocean. We have built ships of glass and steel, our telescopes and our colliders, to peer through the mist. We have seen hints of other islands. We have seen the curvature of the horizon. We may never physically cross the void to touch a parallel universe. We may never meet our doppelgangers or see the physics of a bubble where light stands still. We are trapped in our observable sphere, limited by the speed of light and the brevity of our lives. But in our minds, through the language of mathematics and the power of imagination, we can travel anywhere. We can visualize the bulk. We can understand the infinite. And that, perhaps, is the most miraculous thing of all. We are finite beings with infinite minds. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, the darkness isn't empty. It is heavy with potential. It is crowded with other realities. The horizon is not the end of the story. It is just the beginning of the next chapter. And somewhere, out there in the infinite expanse of the multiverse, another version of you is looking up at the same sky, wondering if you exist. And in a way, you are both right. We keep searching, we keep wondering, because as long as we are asking questions, the universe, in all its infinite, terrifying, beautiful variations, is not just a cold void. It is a home. And we have only just begun to explore the rooms. The true frontier is not space. It is the limit of what is possible. And if the multiverse teaches us anything, it is that nothing is impossible. Everything that can happen does happen. The story never ends. It just branches. And you are the protagonist of this branch. Make it a good one.